God loves all people, but he also desires to be loved back. And I want to share with you how to love God so that your relationship with him can be more intimate and it can grow. In the book of Luke, I love this story that he writes about Jesus when he encounters a religious leader and a sinner, and she probably was a prostitute. But the point being is that we learn a great deal about how we love God and what motivates us to love God. Luke writes down that one day there was a religious leader named Simon. He was a Pharisee, and he invited Jesus to come eat at his house. And Jesus went, but when he went inside Simon's house, Simon didn't show no good hospitality. Anywho, there was a woman who was on the streets, and she heard that Jesus was at Simon's house. So she went over there. And this was regular back in the day for people from outside to come inside to hear the teacher speak. So she went over there, she stood behind Jesus, and she started weeping. She started crying. And her tears fell on Jesus' feet, and she wiped them with her hair, and she kept on kissing Jesus' feet and anointed them with perfume. And this is where the story gets interesting. Simon is over there looking, right? And he says to himself, this can't be no prophet. If Jesus was really a prophet, he would know that this woman is a sinner, and he wouldn't let her touch him. And then Jesus speaks up and says, hey Simon, let me tell you something. I'm a guest in your home, but you ain't showed me no hospitality. But this woman came from outside, and since she came through the door, she haven't stopped blessing me. And this is the part I want you to get. Luke 7:47. This is where he tells them, I tell you, her sins, they are many, have been forgiven. So she has shown me much love. But a person who is forgiven little shows only little love. You see, Jesus tells Simon, the religious leader, he says, let me tell you the difference why this woman is showing me love. Because she been forgiven a lot. But those who think that they ain't been forgiven much, don't love much. And this is the key right here. Once we realize and have the right perspective of who we are, how we are not self-righteous, how we need forgiveness. That was Simon's problem. Simon was self-righteous. He was a Pharisee, and he felt like he was better than this woman. But in reality, we all need forgiveness. In reality, we all are sinners. We all fall short of the glory of God. So Simon's mistake was he looked too highly of himself. And he ain't appreciate God's love because he thought he really need forgiveness. And that's the lesson that I want to teach us. That we really got to look clear at ourselves and realize that, look, we need God's forgiveness, and I'm so thankful that he forgives me. And when you have this appreciation that God forgives you every day, and he gives you new mercies every morning, you will grow a love towards him because he has forgiven you much. So how do we show our love towards God? Well, I'm glad you asked, because Jesus spoke about this subject on John chapter 14. So let's look what Jesus says about it so we can learn how to love him like he desires to be loved. Verse 15, if you love me, obey my commandments. Jump down to verse 21. Those who accept my commandments and obey them are the ones who love me. Look at verse 23. Jesus replied, all who love me will do what I say. And jump down to verse 24. Anyone who does not love me will not obey me. Do you see what was being emphasized in these several verses? Jesus says, if you love me, you will keep my commandments. Jesus says, look, talk is cheap. I don't want you to tell me how much you love me. I want you to show me by obeying what I teach, obeying what I have commanded. You see, that's God's love language. His love language is obedience. When we obey God, we tell God we love him. We show him we love him. The problem is we want to show God we love him in our own way instead of loving him as he desires to be loved. Let me give you an example. Suppose you are married to a husband or a wife, and you get married, everything's cool. But once you start living together, they start changing up on you, and they don't come home when they don't want to because they want to hang out with the fellas or the girls. And you're like, okay, what's going on? And they keep on stressing how much they love you. They tell you, I love you, I love you. And you're like, no, the way I want to be loved is I want to be treated right. I want you to come home at a decent time so we can enjoy this relationship. You see, talk is cheap. We can stress about, oh, I love God so much. But if we're living in willful disobedience and we never want to obey God and we don't much have a desire to, then we really ain't showing God we love him. And again, this is not a love that is forceful. Don't love God because it's a law, but love him out of love, because so much he has done for you, so much he has done for me, so much he has done for this world, and he continues to do. So let us show him how much we love him out of gratitude. God doesn't want you to love him forcefully. Oh, I'm gonna obey God, but I don't want to do it. He wants you to do it willingly. I'm gonna obey God and I want to. I just want to do everything that pleases him. I just want to show him that I love him. I'm thankful. I'm grateful. I'm going to do as he has commanded. I'm going to do what he desires. And it's what's best for us in the long run. It's what's best for us, period. And it shows him that we truly love him. And let me encourage you, because look what Jesus says on John 14, verse 21. He says, those who accept my commandments and obey them are the ones who love me. And because they love me, my Father will love them, and I will love them and reveal myself to each of them. He says, man, when you love me by obeying my commandments, my Father will show you some love. I thought you said God loves everybody, Leo. Well, he sure does. But this is telling us how God expresses his love. You see, there's a difference when God expresses his love with a believer and a non-believer, or a person who is obedient and a person who's disobedient. God loves everybody, but he doesn't express his love the same with everybody. Let me give you an example. If you have a child, you love him the same all the time. Even if he gets good grades or if he gets bad grades, you love him the same. But you don't express your love towards him the same when he gets good grades and when he gets bad grades. When he gets bad grades, you give him a whooping. You will discipline him because you want what's best for him. In the same way, when he gets good grades, you might give him some ice cream, take him out, give him a gift or something. You see, you express your love differently. And it's the same with God. When we're living in willful disobedience, when we're just disobeying God, God is not going to bless us with gifts and ice cream. God will discipline us for our own good so we can learn how to walk straight. But when you're walking in obedience towards God, he will express his love in a way that is more favorable towards you. This is the blessing that comes from walking in obedience towards God. And that's not it. Look what Jesus says. He said, I will love you too, and I will reveal myself to you. You want to see more of Jesus in your life? Walk in obedience and follow his commandments. Your relationship with him will be more intimate and it will grow. So the key to having an intimate relationship with God is following Jesus' commandments. It's a love relationship. You know, it can't be one-sided. It can't be God loves me and I just do what I want. No, God loves you and you show your love back towards God so your relationship can be intimate and God can reveal more of himself to you and your relationship can grow. So my encouragement, family, is for you to draw nearer to God. Draw closer to him and show God that you love him back because he's been so good. He loves you. He continues to love you. Even when you mess up, he still loves you. So show him that you're grateful. Show him that you love him the way he desires to be loved, by following his commandments, by doing what he says. And again, do it willingly. Do it because you want to. Do it because he's good like that. Thank y'all again for joining me. This is Shine Light Ministries. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, peace.